Freedom can be defined in different ways because freedom can be having the opportunity to express your ideas and opinions. It can be not being imprisoned or not being enslaved, or it can also be being free. It means having the ability to do what you want without limitations. However, are limits on freedom necessary? Freedom is a right that everyone should have and that everyone should respect. But despite being free, that freedom must have limits, or else that freedom could become a problem for others. If you want freedom, limit yourself. It is not necessary to create limitation, it is only necessary to become aware of what you are doing and that these actions don't affect others. In the reading for freedom of speech, the privileges are that you can express your ideas, culture, and science, but the obligations be faithful to your nation in every way. In the inaugural address, the privileges are have a full life with true freedom, but the obligations try to forget everything bad, not hate others, and support them in what they need. In the speech at the United Nations, the privileges are the access to education, but the obligations are to provide security and education for children living in the war. Now, in the interview to Malala, the privileges are the access to education too, but the obligations are don't let fear dominate you. Be brave and fight for what you want. Here in the caged bird, the privileges are fly away, feel the nature, can sing of freedom and can dream. But the obligations wait too much time. Be patient. And now in the reading some advice to those who will serve time in prison, the privileges are to try to stand firm with a little hope. That's his freedom. But the obligations, let go of everything you have. In the censors, the privileges are to protect you from reality, but the obligations can know the truth. And finally, from Freedom of the Press Report 2015, the privileges are know the situation in your country, and the obligations live with fear. For example, in recent years, journalists in Latin America have been killed because they are the ones who always want to reveal the truth and bring everything to light. Well, journalists are people who observe, document, and analyze the events that are happening in their respective country to systematize the information and show it to the public. As you can see in the table, Mexico is the country where journalists were most killed during 2014 to 2016, followed by Brazil and Honduras. Now this table shows the number of journalists killed in the countries where there were armed conflicts and in the countries where there were not in 2014 to 2015. At the beginning of the story, the situation in which people live is disclosed, and that is that any letter they write has to be inspected to verify that it doesn't have any potential threat to the government. Throughout history, you can see the need to be free and to be able to make your dreams come true. Even if it is a bird, everyone needs freedom, to feel that everything is possible. Being locked in a cage, perhaps forever, to that person, or in this case to a bird, is like killing him. The graphs show how over the years the media have had more freedom to show the news. However, some countries such as Libya, Thailand, South Sudan were not free to show the real situation of its country. 5 years ago, I was playing on a very wide field full of grass. However, this field in some places had small holes that you couldn't see because they were covered in grass. My parents told me that I could play on that field. I could run, jump, and play with the animals. I called me when to play. Hours passed in which I played, but in an inopportune moment, I began to play with a dog that was taller and faster than me. The dog was catching me, but seconds later, I tripped over a hole and fell. I hadn't noticed the holes since I was having a lot of fun and I had a lot of adrenaline at the time. Immediately I started crying. All the weight of my body had fallen on my arm, and as a consequence, I broke my arm. It might not have seemed dangerous at the time, but it all happened just because I hadn't set limits when I let myself run in a pitted field. 5 years ago, I was playing on a very wide